By that time anyways, it's bedtime, so whatever. It worked for a little bit. And then enough is enough, so.
You guys?
I haven't had a drop of alcohol since we're going on.
I think it's live now.
It's like June.
We're live?
You're
All
live,
right.
Oh,
you're live on
live.
Facebook. We're gonna
So you're a whole
people.
You're gonna let everybody in the room?
Can I
Okay.
say something?
You guys ready?
I think we're ready. We're live on Facebook.
We're already ready
We're
already?
just
We're
gonna
ready?
wait. We're waiting for the room,
Okay.
everybody to join us.
Is everybody ready to join us?
There.
I think we're letting them in.
there.
We've got 7 people right now.
7 people. You know, I think, Beth, we're gonna have 127 people.
We're supposed to.
It's
If
pizza
everybody
night,
joins us.
so I would think so, right?
Everybody loves pizza, especially Margherita white pizza.
So we got a margarita and the white, so.
Oh,
How exciting. I'm very excited. I want to see how you make the white pizza. To me, that's gonna be fun.
I have a feeling that's gonna be on the menu once a week, Chef. As soon as you teach
Soon
her
as-
how, she's gonna go, I'm just gonna make myself pizza.
You're gonna be hooked on it, I assure you, because once I had it, same, it was
You
like,
didn't go
oh
back
man,
to
I
it.
love all, I like it, but yeah, I definitely,
Prefer the
chicken,
white.
mushrooms, artichokes, all my favorite stuff.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So how are we doing, ladies? Are we
We've got about 10 people in. We did start a couple minutes early, so people are trickling in.
just trickling in? We'll wait a few minutes for everybody. And while we're waiting, before we kind of get going, do we want to just mention what people should be starting to do?
We wanna make sure that our ovens are on at 450.
Perfect.
We wanna make sure that we have 2 sheet pans, preferably with a rim on it.
Okay. so like
If
these.
not, if they're flat, that's okay. We just wanna be careful with the cornmeal. We're gonna need a frying pan and we're gonna need 2 sauce pots. They're not gonna have to be too big, so we're not gonna be making a whole lot of sauce since we're only making one of each pizza.
Perfect.
We were gonna wanna drain our artichokes, so if you haven't got those out, pop the can. All I do is pop it open, leave it, dump it in the sink, let all the water drain out. Once that's ready, open them up. Garlic, if you haven't minced your garlic, we're gonna wanna get that ready. We're gonna have our basil popped off the stems already. Our chicken breast, I haven't cut that yet, but I wanna make sure everyone understands the instruction of what butterfly is, so.
Mhm.
We saved it for that piece. Canned tomatoes, our whole peeled tomatoes, we have those popped open. We haven't pureed them yet because we're just making sure that everybody's ready. Some may be that far.
And as long as we're waiting for people to join us, I'll give you a little sneak preview of my coloring book. This is book number 2. This is a children's coloring book, and it has beautiful pages where you can practice your penmanship and then color in the other page. So if anybody would like one of our coloring books, we're donating $5 to the artist Drew Brophy. Unfortunately, he got COVID and he is in the hospital. So the books are $10 on Amazon. They're a great gift, certainly for Valentine's Day. And $5 of that 10 will go to Drew Brophy and their family. So take a look on Amazon.
And he's been in the hospital for several months, so
Yeah.
think about the cost of those medical bills. And if we can help him at all, we'd love to help. And Steve created the book and Drew created the artwork with it. So it's really a spectacular collaboration.
Excellent.
And each page tells a story and it's supported by the artwork. So I think you'll really enjoy it.
Definitely fun. So how are we doing now with everybody coming in? Are we on 6:02? Ready to go? What do you think, Shannon?
I think so, yeah.
We've got everybody in?
It seems like we've got 14 in right now, but we've kind of hit a lull, so I think all the people joining right at 6 have
All right.
joined us. So I'd say we did start.
Okay. Everybody, welcome to our monthly chef night. We took the month of December off, so we hope you all had a great holiday and wishing everyone a happy new year. I'm Beth Ryder with Ryder Elite Team, and we are hosting this event tonight. And I want to introduce Chef Jude, our
Good evening, everyone.
chef for the evening and every month that we do this. And my husband and partner, Steve Ryder.
Hey, Facebook world, we're happy you joined us. Let's get started.
Absolutely.
All right, first and foremost, we want to make sure that our ovens are on 450. If you only have one oven, that'll be okay. We fortunately have 2.
Wait, mise en place?
Mise en place, that's right. Let's go over our mise en place. We have some sheet pans readily available for our pizzas when we're ready. We have some sauce pots because we're going to teach you how to make pasta sauce, both red and white. We have a frying pan because we're going to be making some chicken. We have an immersion blender or a food processor if you don't have one of these handy dandy tools right here. All we're going to be doing is pureeing our tomatoes for our pizza sauce. We're not going to puree it to a fine consistency, but either one works. And I'll show you what we're looking for once we get that far. We have our chicken breast that's already been rinsed and patted dry, ready to go. Our artichoke hearts that are drained out of the can. And these are quartered. If they're not quartered, we can cut those up quickly as well when we get going. We have an onion and our mushroom for our pizza. These guys have already been washed. We have our garlics that's been minced up, cornmeal, our basil that's been destemmed, our crushed red pepper flakes is going to be a part of our red sauce. Our lemon for our surprise cocktail.
Wait a minute, yeah, wait, cocktail.
We got some Prosecco over here that we're going to be mixing with some limoncello to have a limoncello spritzer, if I may. And of course, I just got this new plant as mint, so we'll be using some of this in our cocktail as well.
Yeah, I
Fantastic.
hope we can plant that in the backyard.
That's right.
Fantastic.
All right, so as everyone's getting ready, first thing we would need to do is we want to make sure that we get our tomatoes ready.
So what's in there? Is that whole tomato?
This is a whole peeled tomato, preferably that what I use is the Cento brand. It's an Italian tomato. It's a plum tomato, which is like aroma. That is just the quality of the tomatoes incredible compared to your Great Value or your private selection, what have you may. But this is a product from Italy, and you definitely can tell the difference. It isn't just its natural juice from the canning, so there's no additives to it. So that's another piece
That's a
of
benefit.
why I use those, correct. And the reason we use a whole tomato so we can capture everything that's not, if you use a crushed tomato, then there's more water released into the can. So then when we do it, we don't want our sauce, we don't want to have to boil our sauce too much to evaporate that liquid, so to speak.
Gotcha.
So then all we're going to do is we're just going to pulse this guy. So
Oh, it really breaks up quick.
So we break the tomatoes up, correct, but we don't want any chunks, super big chunks. So we want to just make sure that we break apart the tomato itself, but not making it so that it's a fine puree like a tomato sauce would be. You know, tomato sauce
Right.
is real fine.
So you're keeping small chunks, it's just small.
Well, I mean, more.
Yeah, it's already really,
Right, it's,
Yeah.
as you can see, so see how there was a big chunk that was in there?
right.
See that
Right.
guy? So we
So
want to
like
make sure we want to break that piece up. So there's a couple more, but we're not turning it on full blast and just letting it ride. We want to make sure that we're just pulsing it. So if you're using a food processor at home, it's just the pulse zap,
Gotcha.
because that blade will spin so fast so that you don't puree it fully. I use these same tomatoes when I make marinara, vodka sauce, pomodoro.
Okay, good to know.
Any type of pasta sauces, this is my go-to for sure. So now that we got that guy going. This in here. Put this guy. Now, we're gonna want to take an onion. We're just gonna want to cut them in half. You could break this down and dice it if you'd like to, but for today, we don't really need to do that. We're not trying to get all this onion flavor in there. We're trying to get some in there without the onion actually being in there.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
it does.
Okay, so
I'm
that's
excited to see how we go about
that's
that.
why we'll leave them just like that. Want to make sure we get those skins peeled off. All right. So then from here, what we're gonna want to do is choose this guy. So get one of our saucepans, nice high heat. We want to do a little bit of olive oil.
What are we starting here? So we're staying with the sauce?
So we're gonna do the red sauce. Yep, we're
Okay.
gonna start the red sauce, then we'll move on to the white sauce. So those guys can just slowly simmer as we cook our chicken.
Perfect.
And then as our chicken's cooking, we'll work our dough to build our pizzas. And now once we're ready, we should be ready to go.
Perfect.
Go.
All right.
So oil, we're gonna do just a little bit of garlic. Since the amount we're gonna make, and we're only gonna do 1/2 of our onion. So the amount of tomatoes that we got is all we need.
Okay.
So we're just gonna do a quick saute, not too crazy, not too much. We're not trying to caramelize our onion or our garlic essentially, but we do definitely want to extract some of those sugars and the oils and that, so that way it can incorporate into the sauce as fast as possible. So once we do that, I'm gonna pour tomatoes in. Then we're gonna add the rest of our ingredients. We're gonna have a little bit of crushed red pepper,
Little spice.
little zip.
Got that.
We want to put a little sugar in there because these are gonna be high in acidity. Our tomatoes are. So we're gonna want to add some sugar just to break that up a little bit.
Got it.
You're gonna want to add some basil leaves. I'm just gonna give these guys, just take my leaves, I'm just gonna give them a little chunk. Just so that way you'll get that basil flavor into our sauce. We're gonna do a little salt and pepper.
Question. Is
Okay.
there a reason why the onion is not chopped?
Because we're trying to just incorporate the flavor and not actually have the onion in the sauce. You could put the onion chopped in there if that's how you want your sauce to turn out. Or if you don't mind taking a nice chunk of onion when you go ahead and take a bite. So our
So we're
Margherita
really just trying to
pizza-
get the flavor and we're not gonna leave it in there in the end.
That's correct. All
Okay.
we're doing is just trying to get the flavor of the onion without having that flavor when you take a bite of pizza.
Oh, I
Because
love
there
that. So
are
you can cook with it, but then remove it.
Absolutely.
I've never thought of that. That's a great idea. But that's a great question too. So thank you for asking that because it helps to understand what's happening here.
So like when you do, roasts in the, pot roasts or pork roasts in your
Right.
crock pot, same thing. You could take the whole onion and just throw it in there. And then you pull that out and you get all that flavor,
Wonderful.
but without having that onion in when you go to mix your meat and stuff.
I like that idea.
So this guy's gonna start boiling. We want to bring it down to a nice little simmer.
That's a pretty big burner and it runs hot.
Yeah.
Just saying, that's
Mm-hmm. Let's see we're gonna put our oregano in here is what we're missing. So a little bit of dried oregano. You could use fresh oregano. Just remember, if you're using fresh, you're gonna use less than if you're using the dry. The fresh is more robust and
absolutely.
has a lot more flavor to put off quickly. But dry, typically everybody has some dried oregano in their pantry, yeah. Even Italian seasoning if you wanted to. The difference is we're not adding any thyme to it. So thyme too is a
Part of that oregano or that.
Italian seasoning,
Okay.
correct, that we're not gonna add into this, but like a normal pasta sauce, it would be just fine. Pizza sauce is more tomato. We want that tomato to stand out as
Right.
opposed to the seasonings that go into it. The seasonings we're putting into it are to enhance the flavor of our tomato. Yep. So we got that guy. We're gonna, now we got him up to a boil here pretty much.
Yep.
We're gonna wanna switch it to the backpack there. And then we're gonna start our white sauce. So with our white sauce on medium heat here, we're gonna do a little bit of butter and a little bit of olive oil. We want a nice rich butter flavor in our pizza sauce for our rustic chicken blanco. So we're gonna do a little bit of that. do a little bit of oil. Basically, we're gonna go back to the
We're going
beginning.
back to the beginning.
That's
gotcha.
right, we're
So
gonna.
instead of, so you have oil and butter
Mhm,
combination where we did not have the butter in the other one.
correct. See how this guy's doing its thing nicely.
Absolutely.
Get all bubbly. So what we're gonna make here is one of our 5 mother sauces,
Okay,
basically bechamel, right?
perfect. Yeah.
Butter, flour, and cream, milk. So we'll have that. Once our butter melts, we're gonna just zap in the garlic. A little flour.
How's everybody doing out there? Are you guys getting started? Any other questions that anybody has? Everybody's cooking away. How many total people do we have on?
About 25.
25 people tonight. I love it.
Somebody says on the recipe, it says just oil,
And that's, yeah, that's fine. You can do that too.
but do you do the butter more for flavor or?
Correct, to get a little more richer flavor into it. So the bechamel would be the butter, the flour, and our liquid, our white, our milk essentially is what it would be. So
Okay,
we're gonna make an Alfredo sauce is what we're doing.
right.
The difference is we're not gonna add a bunch of Parmesan cheese into this because that'll take away from our mushrooms and artichokes and all that. So
Yeah.
we'll have a nice rich sauce with also having a good balance to the palate. We're gonna make our roux. We're gonna make a blonde roux. So we're not gonna cook it for too long, as opposed to a brown roux or a dark roux.
Right.
Our whisk is in here, right? A little bit more.
So a little bit more flour.
Mhm. See how the flour that we got in there, we still have a lot of, you can see the fat content
Yeah.
as opposed to the roux itself being like a nice smooth consistency.
Mhm.
So that's too loose. We want it to be a little bit tighter than that. So when you're working and you're making your roux, see how it gets real thick like this?
Right.
You don't want it to stay like that. So see as it cooks out, it
Right.
begins to separate. That's what we're looking for.
Looks great.
So even then, just a tiny bit more. So that way we won't have to add any slurry to it to tighten it up. Because with pizza sauce, it is thick, right?
Right.
So it's not real thin. It's not very watery. I think that's the big piece that we definitely want to stay away from, especially in our tomato sauce, is having too much moisture. If we have too much moisture in our pizza sauce, the dough's not going to cook.
Right.
It's
that
always
makes
gonna
perfect
leave that
sense.
doughiness on the side that has the sauce and the cheese and all your
Right.
ingredients, as opposed to getting a good consistency of it.
Makes perfect sense.
So, we definitely just want to let this guy simmer. Starting to smell like a pizzeria.
I know, it's starting to smell amazing.
And a little bit of garlic here.
Can never have too much garlic, it's fair.
I feel the same way. So this guy, we want to cook it for a little bit, 1 to 2 minutes, but we're not trying to brown it. So we
Right,
don't want our heat to be
absolutely.
too high.
Because we have this is our white sauce.
Correct. And as soon as we get it brown, our sauce will be dark. We
Right.
don't want it to be. It's
Absolutely.
blanco. How's everyone? Yeah, we got it all the way on low.
Yeah.
It's doing all right. Just want to make sure. About ready to add our
Looking good.
So you're gonna want to add half the cream and stir, because it will clump up. So the reason it clumps up is because we're adding the cold. So see how fast it becomes thick and pasty?
Right.
So having it stirred constantly stirring, it allows it to break up that roux so that way we don't have any roux balls or clumps in there.
Right.
So this would be a term tempering. So we're tempering it. We're not pouring it on there to cool it down real quickly, but we're not adding it too slow so that way it doesn't lose its temperature.
So using a whisk, constantly stirring is gonna break up those little balls and then those little.
Yeah, so see how we're getting it to have that
Right.
nice smooth consistency.
Absolutely.
And if you're too thick, you add a little bit more. Adding it little by little at a time, start
You
with
don't know.
half, right? You start with half so that way you can add more as you need to. If you're gonna add too much, then you'd want to add your slurry. Make a little bit of cornstarch and water, add it to it, we'll tighten it right back up.
What consistency actually are we looking for?
So you were gonna want to look for, it's called nappe, which would be to coat the back of a spoon.
Okay.
So when you put a spoon, and this is typically all sauces, we'll use this as our example. So see how we're not quite there yet, how it runs off the back of the spoon like such.
Right.
So with this guy, it'll be slightly different. Right now, we're reducing our pizza sauce and evaporating, right, the water that's
moisture.
in there, that's right. So with this one, it'll be thicker. You can see the consistency of it.
And the more you cook it, the thicker it's becoming. Really what
Yes.
we're looking for.
Right, because the active thickening agent, the roux, is activating and thickening up our sauce.
Right.
So when we're working with roux, you always want to add your liquid to it. You can add it warm. If you add your liquid to it warm, then it's instantly thick. The reason we're having to heat it up is because it's thickening as the temperature rises, since we added cold liquid to it.
Perfect.
Yes, so nappe, to coat the back of the spoon.
Like that.
We don't want to go too fast and too hot, because then you'll scorch your
Right.
sauce.
and
As
it
soon
will
as
be
you
brown.
burn it, and good luck, exactly.
And it tastes not so good.
Right. So there, we'll keep an eye on that. Keep this handy. In case we gotta add a little more as it gets going. We'll just add a touch of salt and pepper to it. We got any questions out there so far? Everybody doing
How's
pretty
everybody
good?
doing on their two sauces? You have your simmer going? No questions?
Not yet. Everyone's going. They're trying to keep up.
Some persons that they're not cooking, they're just watching.
That's
Oh, okay. That's okay.
So with this guy, we're gonna do a little bit of oregano in there.
Okay, perfect.
See how thick that got? And that was
Absolutely.
almost like pretty quickly,
Absolutely.
right? So we want to make sure that our heat's turned down on this. We'll keep an eye on it, so it doesn't turn into paste on us.
Right,
So we're
absolutely.
both low. It's looking good. All right. Moving right
All
along,
right, what's next?
we're gonna do our chicken breast.
Oh,
All right.
great idea.
So our chicken breast we have here, we're gonna butterfly it.
Sorry,
So
we have a good question. What did you just add?
oregano
All right.
to the white sauce. Yep, we added a little bit of oregano,
Perfect.
just so it's not bland.
Right.
So it's gonna have a little flavor. Like
Love
we
that.
said, you could put some Parmesan cheese in there, just don't go heavy handed because it'll take away from the other flavors that we're trying to
Right.
really capture in our pizza.
Perfect.
All right, so I got a
Exciting.
cutting board here, got a separate one because we don't want to cross contaminate anything. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna butterfly our chicken. And how to do that, there's a couple ways. You could stick your hand on here and you can work your knife like this through there, right? To
So
butterfly,
basically, cut it in half.
to cut it in half, to
Okay.
butterfly it. Butterflying it would be cutting it and leaving it so that it then butterflies open, right? You can do
Gotcha.
those with steaks. I don't recommend it, but it's a faster cooking
Cooking process,
process,
'cause
right?
it's thinner.
Right, so that's what we're going for. So I usually stand mine up like such
Okay.
and then hold it, so then that way I can get a better,
Kind of a grip on it to cut it.
cut it almost identically in half.
Oh, yeah. Looks
Right.
good.
So that's why, and if you go like this, I think you work too much of it this way, especially if
And it
you're
might
not,
be uneven.
and if you're not real comfortable with your knife anyways, it's easier to hold it and then just cut down. and then it works a
I think
little
that would
bit.
probably be easier for me too. While we're waiting and you guys are kind of cleaning up a little bit, I did want to mention that we always give away Phoenix Open tickets. That's coming up, so watch your email. That will be coming the week prior to the event. We have a giveaway, a call-in number, and letting everybody know what tickets we have available, and it's the first come, first served basis. So keep an eye on your email for that. We will definitely let you know.
All right, now that we got that ready to roll,
Perfect.
we're going to get our frying pan nice and hot over
Get
here.
ready to cook our chicken.
Yeah, this is gonna be a quick process. This guy, if I remember correctly, is a glass cooker as well. Let's take a look at our sauce here. See look how thick our sauce got over
Oh,
here.
wow, that was quick.
Right, so pretty pasty. I say if it's this pasty, here's another technique. It's called the ribbon, right? So if you can see how the figure 8 stays
Oh, you
there?
can see it.
Ribbon
yeah.
stage when you're making whipped cream.
Okay,
That's
right.
what you're looking for.
Mhm.
I think it's too pasty, so we want to thin it out a little bit.
So if yours is doing the ribbon stage, we need to add a little more cream.
Yeah, and just by not so even we add a little bit, and you can still see that figure 8 pattern essentially, and then it dissipates away. That's what we're really going for.
Okay,
So that it creates that,
right.
but then will dissipate because it's continuing to heat up. So we'll give that a second. Take a look at our red sauce over here. You can see all that water on the top, but then
Oh,
as
yeah.
soon as we move it, see how thick that sauce is
Right, it's definitely
in
thinking
the
up.
bottom. Right. So as long as it's staying on a simmer like that, it's exactly what we're looking for. And with our onion staying big like this, we're going to be able to pull it out. As
Right.
opposed to if it was chopped up, we would then
Right.
have to strain our sauce, and we don't want
Absolutely. Totally understand. I love that concept. That's not something I've ever done, so I like it.
So all we're gonna do here is a nice saute, pretty quick, pretty fast.
So a little olive
A
oil.
little oil. Our pan's gonna be nice and hot, as you can see, the smoke's rising already off of it. That's how you know.
Right, when it
Nice and
shrinks
hot,
back
yeah.
out, yeah.
There you go. You wanna hit those with a little salt and pepper there, Beth?
One of our doctors recommended crushing up the dry herbs with your hand to activate the oil.
Correct. That's why I cut up the fresh basil, so that way it would do the same thing.
Because they may not be able to hear Shannon repeat that stuff. What did
Oh,
she
she's
say?
saying that it's a good idea to take your dried herbs and kind of crush them up a little bit, so then that way it helps release the oils to extract the flavor and incorporate that into our sauce quicker.
So what are we looking for on turning this?
I mean, basically, all we're watching, if you think about it, is we're watching it cook right here. See how we barely got
Absolutely.
fine. So a good sear, good color, that's fine. That's what we don't want it too hot. We don't want to burn it,
Right.
right? But we do want to get good sear. We're not just searing it, we're wanting to cook it. So after we get to the point, right, you're talking 1 to 2 minutes aside, flip it over. This side will go. We can turn our heat down a little bit
Okay.
and then it'll do its thing so that way it'll be ready to go and it'll be fully cooked for when we add it to our pizza.
Perfect.
So we're gonna turn our heat down just slightly. So if you're at home drinking some white wine, now would be a time to spill a little bit into your chicken.
Oh, I see.
Incorporate that flavor, right? Let's go back to our white sauce here and I'll show you our spoon.
Oh, the food has.
So the nappe, right? So when you go and it coats,
Oh,
see how
I
it coats
see.
the back of the spoon?
Absolutely.
That's what you're looking for. A nice smooth
Right.
coat too. So as it runs off, it still
I
coats.
love
it.
that.
Mhm.
That's great
And
stuff.
that's what we're looking for.
So do you keep it on? Do you still keep it on when that happens?
What's that? White wine? Straight out of the refrigerator. There we go. And all we're doing here is we're adding moisture and flavor.
Nice ad, Mr. Ryder.
So you can see, I mean, this guy's still pretty raw,
Right,
right?
right,
So
right.
we're going, this guy's a little bit better, but same. Let's go ahead. Keep it on a medium heat. Not too high, but not too low. We don't want to be here forever. So if you're making dishes like this, I mean, we could take this same ingredients, but
Yeah.
serve it over pasta, white sauce, chicken in the
Absolutely.
pan, mushrooms, onions. So we could take this, finish it in the oven,
Right?
pull it out, let our chicken breast rest, start sauteing our mushrooms and our onions and our artichokes,
I love
add
that.
our white sauce to it really quick,
Throw it
right
on
over
top.
our chicken, done.
Wow, love that.
Just like
Great
that.
idea.
Real quick, real simple.
So it's fun that we can learn to do different things, but yeah, we're still making pizza, but any of this can happen just to throw it over the top of sauce. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And even by its, I mean, just by itself, if you wanted to, if you
Right.
wanted to do something similar like this over, orzo, couscous, rice even. So
Right.
it's very versatile of how
Love
you
that.
utilize the products and how quick and fast. So some might look at a dish and go, oh my goodness, there's no way I could make that. And in reality, really fast.
Right.
It's minutes. So
I mean, this
it's
could be
all
very
ready to
quick.
go. Yeah.
Love that.
All right, so let's turn this guy down. Let's turn him all the way down low. Since we can go ahead and make our cocktail now.
Oh. Or do we make the cocktail when we put everything in the
Hey,
oven?
we can do that.
Okay.
Let's just do that. Our chicken's almost ready anyway.
Because we've got to make the dough, right?
Well, the dough, we gotta prep the dough and get it ready. So I guess we can get those ready.
Not that we don't want to drink early, but I'm thinking while we're waiting for it to cook might be a good time.
Now all I do is just splash a little water in there. Just to help keep that chicken nice and moist. So now we could be basting it. So you're learning, right? A whole nother cooking technique of basting. When we do our steaks next month, we'll be doing this technique here with those.
Oh,
Yeah.
great idea.
Mhm. All right, so we got our sheet pans.
Perfect.
What we're gonna need is a little bit of olive oil. We're gonna need a paper towel. So what we want to do is just put a little bit of olive oil, greasing them up. How such. Just one guy will work just fine. Mhm. And all we're doing here, you could use your fingers if you wanted, but we're gonna smooth out the olive oil. You're gonna need to add a little bit more. And then we're gonna dust them with cornstarch, and then we'll be ready to start working our dough onto our pizza.
I was curious about the cornstarch. Tell me
Not
what
cornstarch, cornmeal.
cornmeal. What do we use the cornmeal for?
The cornmeal is gonna help the pizza dough not stick and add a
Okay.
little bit of flavor to it.
Oh, interesting.
So when the pizza places, why the cornmeal's on there is it's to help the pizza not stick to the brick oven if you're going to the right pizza place. But then the pizza pan, for those that use just a pan.
And just the oil alone doesn't do that.
Yeah, because the dough can still stick to it because it's hot. The pan's gonna be hot. So what the cornmeal does is creates that little separation. And it's not like we're gonna put a nice smooth coat, it's just enough so
Just a
that,
light coat.
that's right. So then that way it allows us to pop that pizza dough off our pan when we're ready to go.
Right. Perfect.
So this is all nice and greased up.
Tonight, we have a couple builders, clients that we work with that are home builders joining us tonight. We have Casey, we have Ken, we have Derek, and who else do we have here tonight? We have Morton is with us and Amanda. So we're so excited that you guys joined us tonight. Please give us some feedback, let us know what you think. And we'd love to do this for your sales team as well at your company. So let us know and we'd love to put something together.
Awesome. Now,
Thank you, Beth.
You're welcome. Good to see you guys.
All I did was just added a little more cream because it was getting too pasty.
Okay, understand.
So then that way it just keeps a good consistency. Oh, these guys. Ooh, these guys are almost done. Go ahead and take a flip on there. Flip on there. Gonna go for a couple more minutes and I'll be ready. All right. Cornmeal. With the cornmeal process, it's just like you're dusting the countertop to roll the dough out, right? Remember when we made pasta and we had to roll the dough? Same concept. We don't want too much, but we just need enough. So that way it doesn't stick to our pan.
Great idea. Now, my father makes a mean pizza, but I don't know if he has ever dusted his pan, but he's probably gonna say he has. So I think, Dad, you are on tonight. Do you dust your pan? Oh, butter versus oil. Okay, that's always another good one too. So there's options, right?
That's right.
You don't have to just always do it the same way either.
No,
And
it-
it will give it a slightly different flavor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The butter will add a crispness to it as well,
Okay.
as opposed to just the olive oil is not going to give it that crispiness that butter is going to give it.
Okay. Good to know.
So we got our dough right here, 1 pound.
So
You
when you're
work this.
shopping for dough and you want to get dough, right? Is there a certain type of dough we want to use? Is there dough that's better than another? What do you recommend?
Necessary. I mean, it's all pretty relatively the same. I mean, obviously, it would be the amount of sugar added to the dough. So
Okay.
honey is a great sugar to make pizza dough
Okay.
and not actual sugar.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you
Making
still have sugar, but it's in a different form.
right, which is also a different flavor. So it's going
Right.
to be a different. They say the New York pizza is the best because the water there, right? So our Arizona water is not so good. So
Gotcha.
you know, it's really depends on what that recipe is, right?
Right.
So I personally don't think that I have a favorite myself. I mean, making it always yourself is a lot harder because you
I
gotta
think so,
play
too.
with the consistencies, you gotta play with the ingredients. We can read the recipe and we can do it, and as you see at the classes we do, the recipe we tweak a little bit because as we're cooking in the kitchen, you may need more of this or less of
Right.
that, right? So when you do so, that's the beauty of cooking is you learn those processes of, all right, we can follow this recipe step by step and what's the outcome? Is it the exact same as it's supposed to be? We don't really know.
Right.
Do the same recipe twice and find out, does it turn out the same, right?
Exactly. Could be a slight variation, a little extra water, a little something. yeah.
Exactly. So with this guy, when you're working, it's going to be elastic. You could roll them out if you wanted. It's easier just to go ahead and pull it. For the size pie we're going to make that whole sheet pan like a big square, you think?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Because
So
everybody's trying to feed their families tonight, so we want to make a pizza.
So if your dough starts to get sticky, it's a good thing. Keep your flour out.
Okay.
And all you're doing is just adding a little bit of flour to your hands, basically, not necessarily your countertop or whatever. If you're going to roll it out, then you would do so. So when we're making a pizza like such, we want to make sure that it's not too thin or it's not too fat, right?
So making it even. How do you keep the consistency even so
By
it doesn't cook too?
By continuing to work it in a circle. So all you're doing is you're pulling it,
Stretching.
right, because it will stretch and then it will come back together, see?
Right, it shrinks.
Mhm. So I think what we got there looks like,
Well,
I
like,
mean, if you wanna,
how do you get the perfect size?
if you wanna feel around, there's a little thin spot there, but it's not gonna be too big. I think this piece we wanna pull out, so there you go. And then if you want an actual
Like
crust on it, you could take the end and double it over, right? So then it creates that. I've left, you can see that there is that piece out there without us actually doubling over. So if you wanted it to have a nice,
Thicker.
big, thick crust to hold it, then all you would do is just roll it over, pinch it down, so then that way the dough will stick together.
That's interesting. So if your family likes it a little bit differently, you could
Well, and so the stuffed crust pizza, how do we do that? Lay your cheese inside of here, roll it over, puncture it down.
and hold it.
How do we make a calzone? We take our dough, we put our filling in, we then fold it over.
Oh,
Right,
makes
so
perfect
calzone,
sense.
so calzones would be another example of
Using
how
the
we're
exact
doing that.
same
Exactly.
product. Interesting.
So these guys are done.
Right, check your
Rest.
chicken.
Let's make sure our sauce is good. Sauce looks good, not too pasty.
Yep.
See, it's got a nice thin, but yet hold like thick
Right.
consistency. Our tomato sauce here, you see yeah, it's looking good. So let's get our pizza dough. On pizza dough, ready to go.
Perfect.
Let's go off. This guy's gonna be coming up real shortly. See that consistency there? You can see here how the water's still on top, but yet as soon as we break underneath that
Right.
water, how thick that is. So
Absolutely.
is this one gonna coat the back of the spoon? Not like the white sauce. Because
Right.
the tomato isn't the consistency of the cream. Plus, we didn't add any thickener to that.
Right.
We're just reducing it down to evaporate the water to get it the consistency that
That we
we're
want.
looking for, right? As opposed to we had to thicken the cream to get the consistency. we wanted.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it's good to know that one's gonna end up a little more runny than the other.
Yeah, and I mean, if we could reduce this down so all the water was gone, then it could be real pasty essentially. We don't want it to be super pasty.
Right, because we want the,
If you're short on time, a little thing of tomato paste in there will speed up that process. So by adding a thickening agent to it, we will be able to get there quicker.
understand. Perfect.
All right, so then from here, get our mise en place ready to go for our next pizza. So we got one. So we'll do, while we're waiting for our sauce to go, we want to get these guys ready. So our mushrooms,
Okay.
right? Everything's relative. What are we doing? How much mushrooms do we want? How big do we want them? Would we want to quarter them to put them on a pizza? It all depends on what
I
you're
don't
looking
think
for,
so. I
right?
don't think you want a big chunk on there.
No, plus it's gonna take forever to cook, so you'll still
Right.
have, I mean, if you had a chunk like this, how long will that take?
Way too long.
Exactly,
And
so,
everything else will be ready before that.
right, and then when you get your pizza, you'll have this giant chunk on there that you're like, I don't know about that."
Right.
So then I would typically just cut them in half and then just go and get a nice slice to them. Nice consistent so that they're not too big, but then they'll cook up nicely when we go to pop them in the oven.
I know.
When you do it every day, you get fast at it. another piece is we don't want them to be too thin because then they'll be dried up and you won't have a nice mushroom for your
Right.
pizza, right?
So you want it to still be intact. You don't want it to be cooked too fast, but you don't want it to cook slower than the pizza either. So it's a fine line. between
Yeah, I
the
mean,
two.
look at our
I love that.
consistency
You did,
here.
I mean, well, you're an excellent chopper.
So you're talking most of it's all relatively the same.
Right.
And that's really what we're looking for. Anything too thin would dry up on us, but this one's gonna be okay.
Perfect.
And then we got our onion. So we're gonna be julienne some onion as well.
We have one person say it was very satisfying watching you do the cutting.
Do the cutting.
And then one person asked why both flour and cornmeal. I thought only cornmeal was sprinkled on the bottom for crispiness.
So it helps keep the pizza dough from sticking to the pan. The flour is it when you're working the dough, just to touch your hands in it, so then that way it doesn't stick. If you were to roll your dough out, you would want to flour whatever surface that we're going to use, so then that way it doesn't stick. So when you go to try to pull it up, the dough's going to stick to.
So did you not put flour on those pans?
No, I
did
did
not.
just cornstarch. Just grease them with oil and then cornmeal.
Just cornmeal.
Yep.
Perfect.
Wow. So we got that already, that already. Let's work our next dough. This guy's a little sticky, so we may need to flour it. We don't want to add too much because it'll dry it out.
Right.
That's not what we're looking for.
You need flour? No. Okay.
We'll be all right.
Make sure you're checking your sauce, make sure that's not overcooking while we're working on some other things here. Just double check and make sure you've taken your chicken off the heat. We want to make sure that that's not overcooking either.
If you're feeling courageous, you could do the old pizza spin.
In March, we are having our staycation getaway. So watch for that to come through. That's our quarterly client appreciation event. And we'd love to make sure that you guys are registered to win that. So keep an eye on your email. We're going to post it on our website as well. And definitely take a look for that because that will be a lot of fun. We haven't picked our location yet. So if you also want to add something in the chat box, something great place that you want to go if you were going on a staycation in Arizona, let us know. We'd love to put that on for you.
So this guy, you can see the difference. So this,
Oh, yes.
this one was able to air out a little bit more, so it proofed up bigger, which isn't too big of a deal.
It definitely was bigger, quicker.
Right. Or rip any more holes in that pan.
So interesting, just like we mentioned, you can have the exact same product and it turns out a slightly different way.
Yeah, and that's
Right?
all because this one proofed up more than this one.
And maybe have
Same
more
amount
air.
of dough though. right?
Exactly, same product.
Yeah.
So just never know. Things could go a little bit differently.
All right, we're gonna need our mozzarella.
Perfect.
This one for our white pizza, shredded fresh mozz. Then our fresh mozzarella sliced for our Margherita pizza.
Perfect. I think the fun part about making pizza is you can top it any way that you like. So we're showing you a few different things today, but if you like different topping, if you want to put sausage on it, pepperoni, certainly could we use the same red sauce if that we were gonna? do it that way?
Absolutely.
So
Same
you-
red sauce can go for any pizza topping.
Perfect. So you can mix it up. So just because we're showing you different pizza today, doesn't mean you can't put different toppings on of your choosing. If you like something a little bit different, we're just showing you how to get it done.
Right. And the big thing is you don't want to put too many toppings on the pizza, right? So a
So it's
little
all
bit of
topping,
a
it'll be fine.
lot will be fine.
Right.
But then that way, like you said, you don't want to try to hold your pizza and it all just falls off.
Good point.
Right,
That was,
so-
it's good.
We want to make sure that that's not the case as well.
Absolutely.
All right. I think we are, oh, let's cut our chicken. Our chicken's cool off a little bit. We're gonna want same thing like our mushroom and our onions. We're gonna want to keep it relatively the same.
Now I'm noticing that our chicken isn't quite completely cooked all the way through. And that's because we're gonna put it on, right? Or is it?
No, we're
All
yeah,
cooked?
yeah,
Okay.
we're cooked all
Okay.
the way through. Nice and tender still.
All right.
Don't want to overcook
Okay.
it because we're gonna put it in.
But it's
the
gonna go in the oven,
Right.
right? So you wanna get it right to the edge and
Yep,
not over.
that's
Gotcha.
correct. Because essentially when all we're doing is we're cooking the dough and, heating, melting the cheese,
Right.
right? Because everything else is already, you can eat it already, right? And that's what we're looking for. We
And we're
don't,
softening the veggies.
yes.
Yep.
Because pizza, I mean, you're talking 8 to 10 minutes and that's it. So we don't want anything, really nothing's really cooking in there. So definitely want to make sure that your chicken is slowly cooked. So that way, no salmonella for anything.
Absolutely.
All right. So these guys, we can turn our red sauce off. See that? Now look at that consistency.
Wow, that looks great. Smells delicious.
So why we leave our onion large like that? Is so we can just
Remove it.
pop it right out.
Perfect.
See, look at how much liquid we lost in that process of just simmering it down.
Right, that's a lot.
All right. So then, Beth, I guess the question is, what pizza do we make? What? Do we make the big Margherita pizza? Or do we make the Blanco pizza?
I don't know, torn. For everybody who's here, do you guys prefer Margherita pizza or the Blanco? I'm thinking I love them both. So let's do the Margherita pizza on the big one.
Okay. So then. The Margherita pizza is just the cheese, the fresh mozz, a little bit of sauce, not too much. You could throw some fresh tomato on if you wanted.
That's a good idea. Now, because you put the basil in there, you really don't need extra basil.
We'll put a little bit
Oh,
on,
okay.
yeah, because you can see there's some there, but there's
Mhm.
not a lot there.
Okay,
And that Margherita pizza really showcases that fresh.
They do,
basil,
yeah.
right?
that's what I was wondering. All right, I'm noticing that that's pre-sliced.
This guy's pre-sliced, so that's a benefit for us, makes it a little bit easier. And all we're gonna do is we're just gonna place it down.
So if it wasn't pre-sliced, about how thick is that?
That's about a half inch.
Okay, so if it's not pre-sliced, which you can buy either way,
Mhm.
if you grab the other one, then definitely slice it up. So it's about this size.
Yeah, and even if you're using, let me show you, I got these little pearls. So even if you got these little guys.
Oh,
Show this as well. So same thing. If you're using these guys, I don't think I would recommend putting the whole pearl on there.
right, it's kind of thick.
But if you cut your pearls in half, like such, then becomes just about the same
Okay, good idea. And maybe quicker and easier for cutting.
And so basically
Oh, I
same,
love that.
same, right?
Yes.
So we'll just open one more for fun and throw it on. Got any questions out there?
Or is
So
everybody
far,
making away?
so far, everyone's doing good. And then we got our fresh basil here. Let's set it on randomly. Don't want too much. What do you think? Looks
I think it
good?
looks pretty good. Maybe a little more
Right
up there.
there.
There you go.
I'd say that's about it, right?
That's pretty good.
Excellent.
A margarita is one of my favorite pizzas.
Mine too, real fresh.
It is really
Yeah,
fresh
you
and
get
light,
all-
not so heavy.
Yeah,
I
and
love that,
just the greatness of the flavor, the mozzarella really stands out. You
right?
know, and if you're gonna put fresh tomatoes on our margarita pizza, that's okay. Make sure you slice them really, really
Really
thin,
good,
though,
yeah.
because there's a lot of water, as you saw with the canned tomato we have. So if you have them you're gonna want them as thinner, about half of that thickness of your.
And I would want to
mozzarella.
put them on top of the mozzarella.
Correct.
Okay, so if you're going to add your tomato thinly sliced on top of the mozzarella,
Correct.
good point. Love it.
So let's go and do. Quick little rinse here. So same principle, not too much, not too little. So sauce goes a long way.
And our next event, while you guys are watching this, is going to be February 10th. It's Valentine's celebration.
Mhm.
And we are gonna have bacon wrap, filet mignon, herbed mashed potatoes, which are fantastic. And I believe it's zucchini as the,
With the roasted
vegetable,
zucchini,
with
yeah.
the roasted.
Yeah.
And we're also going to have a surprise cocktail on that week as well. So we're excited to see you guys again next month and in preparation of Valentine's Day. So I think some of you are just watching tonight. If you guys want to watch, and then on Valentine's for the dinner, then you can make your dinner that you're learning a few nights before
Yeah,
as a surprise.
get you prepped up and ready to go.
Absolutely.
That little dinner for two, not having to spend $150.
Absolutely.
Unless you're getting that 7-year-old Wagyu beef of yours. Huh?
Yeah, and Chef, I was thinking, is there any way we could teach people how to do chocolate covered strawberries?
There is a way we can teach people how to do that.
I mean, for Valentine's Day, chocolate covered strawberries just sound awesome.
Well, Sherry's Berry goes on vacation after they do Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. They're on vacation.
They're out
for the
of
rest of
that.
the year, yeah.
Okay, so maybe we'll add that, guys. Put it in the chat box if you'd like to learn how to make strawberries, chocolate covered strawberries.
Fantastic. I think it sounds great to me.
So mozzarella spreads, right?
And
as
not
it
too much.
melts,
I love that not too much, right?
because it when it melts. I mean, some people like gooey, cheesy pizzas. For me, I like to showcase all the stuff. So we got a nice thin layer of sauce. We got a nice little bit of cheese here. We're gonna add our chicken.
There's lots of love for the chocolate.
We want to put our chicken down first, so that way we don't dry it out, right?
Perfect.
So add it on here.
We got lots of love for the chocolate covered.
Yeah, all
Lots
right,
of
all
love.
right.
Chocolate covered strawberries. I think we're adding that on.
Jennifer, you got your work cut out for you.
Exactly. Jennifer, our coordinator of all this event. By the way, shout out to Jennifer, everybody, for helping everybody get ready for this event.
Looks like a good
Oh, that
consistency
does,
there,
and
right?
nice evenly spread, love it.
Let's go artichokes then. So with these guys, you do want to break them up a little bit.
Right, you
And
don't want big clumps on there.
Yep, and you're just gonna roughly break them up. Same thing, you're gonna get a nice even thin layer of them around, so you can try to get a piece of artichoke in every
Right.
bite. And like you said, I mean, the beauty of building pizzas yourself is you get to put whatever you want to
I
on it.
know,
You know, if you want olives on your half and Steve doesn't want olives on his half.
which would be the case.
Right, so for me, I'm always wanting to have some kind of pepperoni or jalapeno on mine, and my wife's like, absolutely not. So we always make sure that it's,
Everybody has their section
that's
with
right.
the right ingredients on it. And in a family, everybody doesn't love the same thing. Or you want to experiment. Maybe you make a traditional pizza and you experiment with one.
Well,
So
and
you all get to try it.
once again, get the kids into the kitchen and let them
I know.
build their own pizza, and then they're
Such a
ecstatic
great
about it.
idea. Does anyone have the kids working tonight on their pizza? Anyone helping out in the background?
Have you ever used the pizza stone in your
I have
oven?
not, but tell us how that's gonna change our outcome.
So the stone is a nice way to evenly distribute heat to your crust. It allows it to cook the crust very, very evenly, even
Okay.
when your oven may or may not have a hot spot, right?
Gotcha.
So if you use the pizza stone, you can use it for like tonight.
Mhm.
The best way to use your pizza stone is to put it in the oven and get it hot.
Right.
So a lot of mistakes made are not having a hot pizza stone. So when you go to a brick oven pizza place, they don't put your pizza on a cold stone. It's always at 650 degrees or hotter typically.
So they've got that stone sitting in there when they're getting ready.
Well, their
for
whole
that
oven
pizza.
is a
It's a
stone
stone,
base,
right.
right? So same thing is you want to make sure that your stone is nice and hot
Right.
when you go to put your pizza on it. Same principle. The only thing is we wouldn't need to olive oil that stone. We could just lightly dust it with our cornmeal. And then that way pop it in. So if you're gonna use your pizza stone, by all means, I recommend it because it will give it a different texture to the
The
crust.
crust.
Mhm. And that's the real big difference, really.
Okay. So it's
Compared to the metal sheet pan,
right,
right? So that's
where it's not cooking on the bottom. I mean, it's cooking on the bottom, but it's not getting air.
well,
Well,
it's
no, I
it's
guess
just a
it's not a
different
hot-
distributing
you're right.
the heat.
And we're going in cold.
Right, so that'll be a difference for us.
Okay. I understand.
But there we go. What do you think of that?
Oh my gosh, that looks
Looks-
amazing.
Looks nice. Then we just want to top it off lightly. So the cheese on top just helps stick.
Kind of put everything together.
Yep. So the cheese on the bottom and the little cheese on the top's like the grilled cheese. You can't just put cheese on one side.
Oh, no, you
Right?
can't. I mean, more cheese, the better.
Somebody shared they got their kids helping.
Oh, I love that they have their kids
Yeah.
helping. I love that.
Okay.
Thank you guys for sharing, and we love having everybody share their pictures.
I think we're ready for the oven. What do you think?
I think that looks amazing. Also, continue to share your photos too of how your pizzas are looking. I want to see how they're turning out.
All right, so we're gonna pop them in.
Pop them
We're
in.
gonna go one guy in here. You wanna go in the center of your oven,
Okay.
not on higher rack or a lower rack, but try to do the central one, yeah.
Perfect.
And then we're gonna go with this one in our other oven here.
Perfect.
Center. We're gonna set our timer. Let's start with 8 minutes. We'll start from there and we'll be able to take a look.
And we have cocktail hour.
Well,
starting over
cocktail
here.
hour, perfect. All right, for our limoncello spritzer, we are going to need glasses with ice. Let's see here.
All right, everybody
8
grab your
ounces of
eyes.
Prosecco. We're making 2.
We'll make 2.
So,
We'll end up making more, so if you want to make more, we'll end up having about 6.
we'll just go that route, right?
Yep.
So there's our first 8 ounces. There's our second 8 ounces. That'd be our third 8 ounces. So if that's the case, for a full cup, that'll be fine. And then we're gonna go 2 ounces per 8 ounces.
Okay.
So let's go.
Let me fill these up.
Two.
So simple, just a little limoncello with champagne.
And then we're just gonna top it off with some fresh lemon, some mint, and a little bit of sparkling water. So we're just gonna give it a little stir around that limoncello in there.
Okay.
So we'll go. Some mint off of our fresh punch here.
Oh.
Steve says add into the jar.
I love it. It would be nice to have fresh mint.
Oh, fresh everything.
Everything.
Right?
A little hard to grow in Arizona in the summer, but
Not too bad
not
now.
too bad now.
We'll go. Twist here.
Love it.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know, but yours always looks so good.
Just
That
like
looks
such.
Spectacular. Let's see, clear the decks here. Steve, are you gonna try one with me?
I am ready to try
All
one
right.
with you. Last time we had the 75-day challenge. Now we're gonna enjoy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And cheers to everyone at home.
Cheers, everyone.
Oh, I like that. Very refreshing.
Very nice, chef. You are the man.
You know, sometimes I come through and put it together, huh?
And I hear
Excellent.
someone is building a brand new home, and it's going to be done in just a couple of months.
That's correct. I got a Fulton home going, looking to close on St. Patrick's Day.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you,
Congratulations.
thank you. I'm very excited about that.
We just love it when our chef can actually be a homeowner. We can help you in your community, do all the community events. And cheers to you. Thank
Cheers
you
to
very
you.
much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And cheers to everyone for joining us tonight.
Let's take a look at
What's our
let's take a
timeline
look at
look
our
like, Bob?
pizzas. Oh, look at that. We're looking good in there. Let's take a look at our other one.
The one thing that I never know is how do you tell when the crust is done?
So right now we're about halfway through.
Okay.
And what you want to do is you're going to want to see the middle of the pie.
Okay.
That's where you're going to want to check the crust, right?
Right.
Because that's where it's going to take the longest to cook.
Right.
So what we'll do is grab a spatula.
You kind of look underneath it.
We'll touch it because you'll see and I'll show you. You're looking for that slight firm, not stiff, but firm to touch. So when we're touching it, it'll be a firm touch that'll bounce back, but it'll have that sense of stiffness to it.
Okay.
It won't be like we lift up the whole pizza pie and it all does this, right? But it will, when we lift it up and it starts to lift up,
Okay.
all of it at once, right? That's what we're
kind of
looking for.
trigger.
We
Okay.
don't want to go too far, then it's a piece of cardboard. And I don't like
Right.
eating that, but you definitely, and it's always, you want to go to the center of it, right in the middle, because you'll see when we take a look, could be doughy still. So
Right.
It's gonna go a little bit longer.
So making sure that that center is getting done.
Yeah, you know, when we lift it up and if we lift up our pizza on the edge and that all the way to the center lifts up, we're probably right on the
Okay.
spot there.
So if it sags in the middle, that's really not quite ready yet.
Right,
Gotcha.
that's what we're waiting for. So that will be just a moment. Yeah, it's nice, you know, and the thing about pizzas is it's hot and fast.
Okay.
So if you ever notice like on a frozen pizza, it's
Right.
always 425 degrees.
Right.
The reason being not so hot is because it's frozen, so it's got to thaw and then
Then
finish
okay.
cooking. Those are mostly already cooked anyway.
Right.
With the fresh doughs, it is a fast, hot process as opposed to cooking it longer at a slower temp or a lower temperature.
Understand.
Yep. So
Perfect.
the hot, the fast. You don't want to be too hot, but like I said, if pizza ovens range from anywhere from 500 to 800 degrees, and
Right.
that's how fast pies are coming
Right.
out of there.
Absolutely.
You know, so you're definitely like a 650 is a good temperature for a pizza oven. Our ovens aren't going to get
I was
that
gonna
hot,
say, how do you get that? I don't think we can get that here.
but that's why pizzas are taking, you know, 5, 6, maybe 7 minutes, and you're talking that's a whole
Right. And that's
14,
just
16, 18
that's
inch
right.
pie. Yeah, absolutely. A pie that big is gonna cook in 6 minutes and it's done like
done.
that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Because it's bread, but it's only this thin,
Right.
right? So the moisture on the top, the less moisture we have on the top allows that dough to cook and rise evenly as opposed to sagging in the middle because all that moisture sinks into
Right.
that spot.
Good to know. We are asking that anybody that wants a apron from the writer team, if you guys want to put your name in the chat box, and you have to show a picture of your final pizza. So if you show a picture of your final pizza and put your name in there, we will send you a writer team apron. And we'd love it if you would wear it on our
Chef
Okay.
nights, that's right.
comments.
We got any questions? Anybody got any other questions out there?
How about any general cooking questions? We have the chef at your service, ready to help.
How's the market looking?
Market's looking great. We still have an extremely low inventory. For any of the folks on that have bought recently, you understand that it is a frenzy to buy, but we have been having great success in helping our clients close properties and buy a property in a multiple offer situation. So we have some great strategies to help you win a property today. So we'd love to have you call us. And it's also a great time to buy an investment. A lot of our clients have come back out and said, you know what, I still want that investment property when the rents are an all-time high and my interest rate's still gonna be an all-time low. So we are here ready to service you on your real estate needs anytime you need to. And Steve, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I would like to add that I've been working on our builder trade-in site, and we have a lot of very unique items that we offer on buildertradein.com. One of the specific things that we offer now are interactive kitchens. So you can literally take a picture of your kitchen, upload it, and what we'll do is we'll digitize the kitchen for you, and you'll be able to change the countertops and the color of the cabinets and the flooring. And we do that if you give us a referral. So if you'd like to do that, just go to buildertradein.com, click on interactive kitchens. And for this month, we'll digitize your kitchen.
Boy, how many of you want to remodel? This would be a great way to figure out what color scheme you want and making sure that you and your spouse like the same one.
That you agree, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, wait, we have to interrupt.
What?
Let's take a look at this.
Wow.
So let's set this guy down and we can show you what we're looking
Oh,
for.
I
here.
love that. Here, I'm gonna get rid of these.
Gotcha,
Let me
right
get rid of
there.
these.
So that was at our 8-minute mark. As you can see. See how
So
we're
they'll
going to,
stick you on the bottom next,
yeah,
right?
not too much
That's
though.
fine.
Yeah, it's popping up nicely.
Cool.
So see how we can tell right away that we're almost, we're just gonna give this guy one more minute. I can see it's a little flimsy in the middle there. So let him go. But
That
this
looks
guy,
so amazing. Wow,
This
I cannot
guy.
wait.
as we go and lift it up, you can see. So here, it's still pretty doughy.
Okay.
It's still too soft. So we
Gotcha.
want it to be a little bit crisper than that. So let's give another 2 more minutes and then we'll see where we'll probably be right on there. So that was our 8-minute.
8 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. If you didn't set your timer, go check your pizza.
We'll go 2 more minutes. And like everything else, you want to let that pizza cool and rest a little bit before
Right.
you dive right on into it.
Absolutely.
Not like a piece of meat, like steak or something like that, but
Right.
you definitely, when you pull it out of the oven, as you can see how you worked it around, you want to make sure that that crust does pop up off of your sheet pan or your pizza stone, so then that way, as it cools, it'll stick more.
Right.
So when you pull it out and it's nice and hot, it's the easiest way to get that loose, so that that way you can throw it on your cutting board or use your pizza cutter and roll them up and cut it up. So that's what we're really looking for. And like you could see in that, the center of it, when you go and you touch it, it's too soft to press up, as opposed to having a nice firmness to that bottom of the
Right.
crust. And that tells you that, okay, this is probably cooked all the way through, so that that way there's not that layer underneath your sauce that's super doughy stuff.
Right.
And I think that's a big piece.
Oh, yeah,
Having
for sure.
Your oven on higher, cooking it at a top and bottom evenly as well, but remembering the moisture of our sauces and other ingredients is gonna make it harder for the top of that.
Absolutely.
So.
That makes perfect sense. All right, so one of my favorite pizzas I've had, and I don't know how to replicate it, I think it's a white sauce on there, very, very light, but it's with ricotta cheese. And they kind of put a little dollop throughout it. And how would I do that? Because I want to recreate this.
So same thing. So what you would do is you would make this white sauce like this, and then you would take some ricotta. You would dump it out of the tub.
Okay.
You would take your whisk and you whisk it. So
Oh, that
you
makes sense.
can
Because it.
add a little bit of air to it, and then just take your spoon and
put the
dollop
tops
up wherever you'd like. Yeah.
Okay. That is my son, Alex, and our favorite pizza.
So I'll throw one at you. You like ricotta?
Yes.
Put it in your pancake.
Oh, now
That's
a good
my
idea.
favorite. Oh man, that's it. See how we got a nice browner edge on the outside
Yeah.
as well, but then we're gonna see, you can tell just a little bit more.
Just a little longer.
See how it's not quite firm? See how doughy that
Yeah.
looks? Okay, so
Can everybody see that? Are you guys checking your pizza at home?
let's go another 2 minutes. We want to make sure that we're checking constantly, because with that high heat, you get walked away for 1 minute and that thing's
Boom.
burnt in no time. Yeah?
Absolutely. Now, we have two different ovens, and this oven actually cooks not as high, I think.
It's the other one's the convection, so it's blowing
Blowing
the
all the way
air
around,
right
okay.
to help the process. Let's take a look at this guy's press. This one was a little bit thinner, so then that way it might not take as much time.
Wow, it looks amazing. And I wasn't sure about this one, but I'm loving that. It's amazing.
Yeah, this one's definitely one of my favorites. For
Oh.
sure. So let's take a look at this one. See, this one's a lot more firm.
Yes.
When we go to touch it, we can show everyone from this side here. See how when we go to lift up, this guy's ready to rock. Let's go ahead and move him out. Let him cool down a little bit.
So do we leave it on our pan, let it cool down just a little bit
Yeah.
before we're gonna cut or
Yep.
do anything?
That looks good. Right
Should I
there.
get you some big cutting boards?
I mean,
Will you cut
this
on
guy,
there?
we can.
Oh, use that guy? Okay. Save on dirty dishes.
That's how it works. Leaving you all your pasta ingredients for tomorrow.
I'm thinking, that sounds like a great idea. And I only say Steve because in our family, he is the cook. I can take no credit for any cooking over here, but I love learning. All right, everybody, take a sip of your drink. I'm liking mine. What do you guys think about our cocktail tonight? So fresh. Amazing.
That's the pan.
Yeah.
Nice golden brown on the outside. See how when we lifted that up, more of it stayed together.
Right,
So
right.
this guy's ready to go too.
Balancing act.
Mhm.
Spectacular. And I'm loving how you're cutting that too. That makes it a nice, good sized piece for everybody.
Yeah.
Versus cutting it kind of rectangular shape. I like this.
We
more.
could, I mean, like you
like
said,
it.
however you're looking, to do, we're trying to still achieve our pizza.
Slice.
Mhm. So these guys are gonna have to. That's all.
And of course, the plating. The plating is what makes it
Right.
always
the
look
big piece,
so
right?
good.
The big piece.
Your towel. Right here. I'm cleaning up after you.
That's all right.
Oh, we're clearing the decks for pizza number 2.
That's right.
Boy, Chef, you are outdoing yourself tonight. This looks amazing.
I know, it looks fantastic. Wow, check this. Oh, this looks so great.
We're gonna do a nice little knot of our fresh basil.
Oh, that looks great.
And all I did was just rolled it up and cut it as thin as we possibly can. Little here on our margarita,
Wow, that's great.
touch of our crushed red pepper flakes.
Oh, amazing.
Last piece.
spectacular. How does yours look at home compared to this?
Now, remember, guys, we would love to give you some of these matching aprons. They're so in style this year for 2022. And all you have to do is ask and show us a picture of your pizza.
Absolutely, and include your name so we know who.
We
who's
do
provided
need your name. That is very important. Phone number, name, that'd be perfect.
Absolutely. How are they looking? How are they looking online? Is everybody caught up? Is everybody kind of wrapping up and serving their pizza for dinner?
How many of
Julian
you
made
have had
6
two
different pizzas.
six pizzas?
Okay,
Nice.
we have a person that made 6. That is an overachiever, right there. Jillian, love that you're on our team.
And we've had some requests to maybe do a children's night and have a maybe breakfast motif or
Yeah.
maybe some desserts or something like that. So put it in the chat box. Ask
Absolutely.
your kids what they'd like to make.
Absolutely.
Because
And
you've
we'll
got
go ahead
all
and
kinds
teach
of
them.
secrets, right?
I sure do.
And we'd love to get the kids involved.
You-
So
Pizza's a good one,
That's a
right?
great
Because then they love pizza.
They
So
love
let them
pizza.
build it, and then, like I said, they walk away and be like, hey, check that out. Pancakes, another one.
that
Get
is a
them-
good one.
Show them how to, you make the batter. It's super easy. Everybody typically has all the stuff in there: milk, eggs, flour, sugar, little baking soda, powder.
I can teach them how to make either strawberries or raspberry jubilee.
See, right on. It goes right along with it.
But
Right?
that, perfect.
Yeah,
They can even
absolutely.
go in the pancakes or waffles.
That's it.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
Now we're talking.
Okay, guys, we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for joining us tonight. And again, I'm Beth Ryder, Steve Ryder, Chef Jude, and thank you so much. Appreciate you guys joining us, and have a great evening and enjoy your dinner.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.